A ruling has been handed down in the matter involving the Boundaries Commission report.
LaDon Davis was in court for the proceedings earlier this afternoon.
Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder rejected an application by Montague MP Richard Lightbourne and MP for Fort Charlotte Andre Rollins, who submitted that the Boundaries Report recently tabled in Parliament violated Article 70 of the Constitution, which requires a report to be completed every 5 years. The MPs also accused the government of gross gerrymandering. Last week in court, attorney Michael Scott, who represents Rollins and Lightbourne, argued that the report should have been tabled on or before November 16, 2015. 5 years to the date when the last report was tabled. He said there was no excuse for what he called procedural slackness, and also argued that the report was infected by bias and should be made null and void. Also at that time, the government attorney Lauren Klein said the points made by Scott were political, and the only semblance of an argument was the fact that the report was late. However, he charged that alone does not give rise for a review. While Scott's argument was refused, however, he told reporters that he plans to appeal the matter within about a week.
We have leave to appeal to the Court of Appeal, and thank God we live in a country in which certain freedoms are still available to us, and that is we have a free and fair judiciary. I'm gratified that the Privy Council are in town.
Additionally, when asked whether or not he could have delivered more evidence and data to get a more favorable ruling, Attorney Scott responded this way.
We presented, in our opinion, there is always more evidence you can produce, but we presented what we felt was enough in order to get us past the stage of producing a good arguable case. We could have called witnesses, we could have shown, and I thought we had shown, that removing the strongest part of Montague.
Member of Parliament for Fort Charlotte, Dr. Andre Rollins, and Member of Parliament for Montague, Richard Lightbourne, both agreed that the ruling handed down today was not unexpected.
We're obviously very disappointed with the ruling, but I think really before we can make any positive statement as to other than the fact that we do intend appealing the matter, is to actually see a copy of the ruling and be able to focus on it and look at it.
The reality is that we can and will avail ourselves of the various other levels of the judicial institution, being the Court of Appeal, and if necessary, the Privy Council. The last thing that any judge wants to have happen is for a ruling of theirs to be overturned.
LaDon Davis, ZNS Network News.